Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video. It's your girl LB. Welcome to my channel, Watch With Me LB, where I give you fun, fresh, and funny rants, reviews, and recaps on my favorite movies and TV shows. And we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about thine royal queen, Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. I am so excited to talk about this with y'all and get y'all take on the 6 episodes. Was definitely looking for more. I can't even front. I wanted at least 10. But I know it's a Bridgerton story. It's a spinoff, okay? Baby Shonda could have gave me at least 4 more episodes. But it's all right. It's all right. It ain't nothing I can do about it, okay? I don't live in Shonda land. Let's get in here and talk about a Bridgerton story, y'all, because it was fantastic. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell for the notifications. And don't forget to hit that like button. Let me know if you like this thing, okay? I'd appreciate your support. The heat, Jesus. The heat. The heat that I am experiencing. Just a side note, it don't have nothing to do with nothing. But if you notice that I am sweating like a woman of ill repute in a church house, it's because my air conditioner broke in my house. And it is 974 degrees outside where the humidity is at least 98%. And my air conditioner said, not today. Not right now. Okay, I can't be bothered. So I'm waiting on the man to come tomorrow. So if you see a little glow on your girl, that's what it is. Okay, I got me a little popcorn. I'm gonna fan with it, all right? And I just ride with me and just send me your cool thoughts, okay? Like a York peppermint patty commercial, all right? This show is featuring the beloved Queen Charlotte from the past 2 seasons of Bridgerton. Now, we have seen Queen Charlotte serving up fashions, and she's gonna serve you up the wiggage. We don't know too much about her when we see her in the first 2. Hi, Bluesy. In the first 2 seasons of Bridgerton. So we're getting to know her in Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. When the series opens up, we see baby Charlotte and her brother Adolphus. They are on their way. Charlotte has been betrothed to the King of England, King George. And she, is not really satisfied. She don't really like that too much. She's letting her brother know, and we could hear by the way that she communicates to her brother that she is extremely smart, extremely quick-witted, and extremely aware of her surroundings. Now, in Bridgerton, both seasons, we definitely saw that there was white members of high society as well as black members of high society. And they were mixing and mingling, dancing and talking, living next door to each other and doing the thing. We didn't know how it got to be that way. So we get to understand that in this show. When Charlotte touches down in London and meets her soon-to-be mother-in-law, Princess Augusta. Princess Augusta is like, damn, she a little tan, ain't it? Realizes that Princess Charlotte is black, right? And so now Princess Augusta is panicking. She's like, well, what the hell are we gonna do? She a little darker than I had suspected. Y'all had told me she was Moorish. Y'all didn't tell me that the ish on the Moorish was capital. We got a little situation on our hands. All right then. She decides to come up with what is called the Great Experiment, because she says that whatever the palace says is what is law, right? The palace knows that, it's time to be more progressive and it's time to desegregate. And we're going to invite some black people to the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Prior to, that wasn't coming. But now, you know what I'm saying? One of their own is coming on up in here and it's too late to cancel the wedding. So we just going to invite them in here and we just going to hope for the best. They run out last minute, like an hour before the wedding, to invite, wealthy black and people of color that are in London high society, right? Now, she does mention that a lot of these people have more money than they do. That these people are even royalty, coming from wherever they are, their original homes, right? Coming from Africa or somewhere in Asia, right? That they are just as well-to-do as they are. But because they have melanin, child, we just can't even pay attention, okay? Oh, girl. Oh, this is exhausting, ain't it? So while Princess Augusta, old raggedy self, is in there trying to come up with the Great Experiment, Charlotte is like, you know what? Immediately, no, I don't want to do this. So I'm going to just try to figure out a way to climb over this wall. So let me figure out if I could shimmy on up in my lace and try to figure out what's going on. Now, while she's doing that, a little snacky cutie patootie is coming up behind her in some fire, silk robes and whatnot. And he's like, hey girl, you need some help because I ain't never seen a girl try to climb a wall before. So let me know if you're in distress. Cause, as a gentleman, I'm gonna, help you. You know what I mean? Princess Shonda is like, listen, I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. You can go ahead where you gotta go. I don't have time for whatever it is you're talking about. I don't want to marry this man. I don't even know nothing about him. They don't want to talk about him. So he probably looked like an ogre. He probably looked like a troll under a bridge or a Billy Ghost Gruff or something of the sort. And so Charlotte doesn't realize that she's talking to George. Now, when she turns around and realizes that George is King George, her future husband, she's like, well, damn, boy. Oh, hey, your face is mighty symmetrical. I could probably do that. I could probably, be inclined to like have a conversation with you. You don't look like a Billy Goat at all. Now, when Charlotte and George meet in the garden, Charlotte got a little updo ponytail, right? She got her little curly bob. So, because George has seen her in that dress, she's like, well, shit, nah, I can't wear this. I can't do my updo, my little curly bob. I got to switch it up on y'all. Baby, when I tell you, Charlotte came through with her wedding gown and her crown, the crown of diamonds, and her crown on her head made out of hair, baby. She was going up. She was blessed by the gods. Her face was kissed by angels. The moles had their little outfits on too. Beautiful. You understand? Knocked him off his feet. King George, they had nothing to do but just marry her, baby, and just give her whatever she wanted. And they look so good together. Okay, they look great together. And they look so like smitten with each other. And I was like, they about to knock boots. I already know. Y'all know I'm a creep. You know what I'm saying? And it's Bridgerton, so you already know I'm about to get a thing. And George just gets her in the carriage. It's like, girl, I got a surprise for you. Come on here. Let me show you what I got for you. He takes her to a beautifully decorated palace. And he's like, hey, girl, this your house. Charlotte was like, you had said your, but I thought we was a unit. Like, if it's mine, then that means it's yours. Does that not mean that it's yours? Because maybe y'all do things different here in London. I don't. George is like, nah, girl, I'm not staying here with you. You do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. And then they get into an argument and he start yelling at her. And I'm like, bro, you giving me Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's like a red flag. It's like red flags all over the place because don't try to bait and switch me, baby. Just because we married don't mean you could just like yell at me and then tell me to like go somewhere else. Like, how we gonna knock boots if I'm in a whole nother castle? Like, make the math to me, okay? And Charlotte was confusion too. We was both confused together as black women. Now, in Queen Charlotte, we jump from seasoned Charlotte to baby Charlotte, okay? So we see baby Charlotte when she first met her little Boonopolis George, right? Now we flip into current times, like when we know Queen Charlotte in Bridgerton, right? With her 15 grown children. Now, her daughter has given birth, but unfortunately, the child has passed away. So they have a crisis on their hands, right? There is no heir to the throne now. So that's the whole goal, right? We got to keep it going. We got to keep it pushing. She has done her thing, okay? Obviously, her and George was added like rabbits, baby, because they got 15 children, and this is in the 1800s, baby. That's like having like 42 children, okay? That's buku children for any time, okay? So she has grown children. Now, this is where I had a little bit of pause, right? Because I'm looking at Charlotte, snack, okay? I'm looking at George, snack, all right? And I'm looking at these children. The percentage of snack that was within the children and, the family, her children, it was significantly less. And I was like, were we adopting at this time? I know DNA and I get genes and I get it. Okay, I'm understanding that. But I just was confused about the way the children were looking in terms of the snackages for the children wasn't snacking the way that I thought they was going to snack. Is all I'm trying to say. That's just a little side note. But anyway, they got to figure out a way to get a little baby on up in somebody's womb. But then I was like, well, sure. Okay. While you was sitting there all in everybody else's business in season 1 and season 2, look like you should have been gone and looking after these funny looking children of yours. I'm saying you need to get your little grandbaby, and it seemed like you should have been meddling over here with your grown children because she got daughters that are like 38 and I'm 38. Okay, and Don't ask me to have no baby child. You better get. And so I'm trying to figure out why she wasn't minding her own self business. But you know that's the queen, baby. The queen do what you want to do. All right, queen, you do what you want to do, queen. You look amazing, girl. Now back over there with baby Charlotte. Okay, she is losing her mind. Okay, at the castle. Okay, at Buckingham House. Now see, we also met baby Brimsley. Okay, now baby Brimsley is, you know, everywhere Queen Charlotte goes, 5 feet behind little baby tiny Brimsley. Okay, so Queen Charlotte said, well, B, what's going on with what do I have planned? You know what I'm saying? I'm the queen. I need to go, you know, see what's going on in the castle, in the house. You know, I need to go meet with my ladies in waiting. I need to get, you know, go see what's going on at the opera. And then Brimsley said, oh, well, no, because you're on your honeymoon. We don't have nothing planned for you to go nowhere. You're supposed to be getting thine royal cheeks clapped. And she was like, oh yeah, you sure right. I'm supposed to be at my honeymoon. My girl Charlotte was at the house one day eating dinner, and she said, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. Let's go to wherever he at. Put ready thine royal carriage. So they go over there to Q house, Q palace, Q garden, okay, where George is. And she pulls up unannounced, baby. And so King George is in there, and he is looking at like a big ass telescope looking in the sky, and she sees that he has been sleeping there and eating there and just living his life in the observatory rather than being with her and sleeping with her. George and Charlotte get into yet their second little, you know, verbal tussle. They only seen each other twice. You know, Charlotte is verbalizing her concerns to George. Like, you've been sleeping here, eating here. You would rather look up at the sky than be with me. I don't know anybody here. I have no friends here. They make me change my clothes 3 times for what, sir? I be sitting there eating custard all day. At this point in the show, I'm like, sir, whose company are you preferring? Like, what's the problem? Like, I don't understand. Like, you were looking at her all googly-eyed. When we find out why he's in this observatory, we kind of understand that, but Charlotte is confusion. George politely tells her to get up out of his observatory and go home. And so she said, you know what? Alright, cool. Now here go the meddling mother-in-law. She's questioning Brimley, who obviously is the queen's servant, you know, her personal assistant person. And then the king's personal assistant person too. And Reynolds. And she's questioning them, like, are they fucking? Like, what's going on? Both of them are lying, right? They're protecting their people. They go, yeah, listen, they are so blissfully in love. They just are making me uncomfortable. So they had their people back. You know, we're going to learn about, you know, them two later and their cute little story, because they so cute, like, them two together. They're like a foot apart in height. But I'm not mad at it. Okay, you love who you love. All right. Now we get over there by Lady Danbury. Young Lady Danbury. Okay, when she was a fine young tenderoni. I don't know how old she was. She was probably in her 20s. But her husband, listen, this thing should have came with a trigger warning. All right. Because the makeup that they put on Lady Danbury's husband, baby, you cannot just say, you don't just set him in front of my face like that. Just tell me ahead of time that there's gonna be a ghoul doing his business with Lady Danbury in the marital bed, and then I could prepare myself. You can't just throw that in my face like that. That boy looked like a black Billy Butcherson, okay? Like, I just wasn't ready. He come from Hocus Pocus if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You should know who Billy Butcherson is, okay? But anyway, so Lady Danbury's husband is, you know, doing a little pump action, and Lady Danbury's like, Lady Danbury was playing the game. She was playing the long game. Because most people that I know would have vomited and then say, you know what, I would rather live in a hole someplace. Get your hands off me. I got to go scrub my body for at least 5 to 7 business years. And then I'm going to try to figure out something else to do. Because I need you to get up off of me. Because the way that man was looking. And the man who plays her husband doesn't look like that. The makeup is makeup. Because I had to Google it, y'all. I Googled it. I was like, what is this man's name? And does he really look like that? Like, if you took that wig off, that, you know, that Frederick Douglass wig that they had on him, if you took that off, did he look like that? And he didn't. Thank God for Jesus. Because I was like, Lord, I cannot. Okay, baby lady. I felt so bad for Lady Danbury, baby. Woo! And then she had children with him too. And I'm like, Lord, I would be so scared. But please let my children have every single thing that I have. Just me. Just let it be my DNA all over my children always and now and forevermore. That man looked terrible with that makeup on. Lord have mercy. So Lady Danbury and Lord Danbury have been bestowed with titles from the Great Experiment from Princess Augusta. They were some of the ones that got them last minute invitations to the royal wedding. Lord Danbury is trying to do all the things that, you know, members of high society do. He want to go to the gentleman's club, not the strip. You know, it's not a strip club. It's a gentleman's club where literal gentlemen go to be in community together. They said, no, sir. No, sir. I appreciate your title, but get on up out of here. And then he goes home and wants to have sex with Lady Danbury. And Lady Danbury's like, God damn it. I got to try to figure out a way to get this man access to something so he can get his hands off me. I'm sick of him. The two men responsible for the queen and the king, they get together and they say, listen, they hadn't had sex yet, baby. And this marriage is not official. So we got to figure out what to do. We need to figure out how to do something. And the king's man, Reynolds, was like, he don't want to be with her. What you want me to do? Make him go over there and have sex with her? I can't. Like, what you want me to, like, put it in for him? Like, Brimsley is like, let's do, maybe you could suggest that he does like a little gesture. Hey, you know, I'm thinking about you, Charlotte girl. So that's what you think of me, George? So you just digging yourself in a hole, baby, because this is not making it any better for me. This is not making me feel like, yeah, I'm gonna come clap thine royal cheeks. So she's like upset about it and it pisses her off. And so she's walking around feeling just upset. And she's like, you know what? I'm about to meet with my people. Where my ladies in waiting at? Brimsley was like, listen, you're on your honeymoon, my love. You can't have guests over here. And you're supposed to be, you know, getting thine royal yam. Charlotte was like, I'm the queen. You can't tell me what I can and cannot do. And then Brimsley was like, listen, I'm the one person that's not going to tell you what you can and cannot do. I will tell you how to do the things that you're not supposed to do. I got your back. And I was like, yup. That's what I'm talking about. You know, we can't have all 6 of them over here, but we can get you one. And the one that you want is Lady Danbury. Danbury comes over and it starts off a little weird. They soon hit it off. And so, you know, Lady Danbury is asking the queen, like, kind of roundabout, like, how's the honeymoon going, girl? How's it going? And, you know, Charlotte is like, oh my God, it was blissful and it was wonderful. And Lady Danbury was like, girl, you full of shit. So they get to, like, running and spilling the real tea, right? Figures out that they actually haven't clapped thine royal cheeks, right? So she makes Brimley go get some paper and some little charcoal, you know, so that you can sketch it out. Because, you know, my baby Charlotte didn't have, you know, they're not talking to these girls. My girl, Lady Danbury, had some really good drawings. I was like, okay, all right. This, you know, this is more than what I got, child. Ain't nobody draw me no picture. I wish they had, child. It would have saved me a lot of time. Can I help you, ma'am? Come on. How y'all doing? Excuse us. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Where was I? So Lady Danbury is going over there to go see Princess Augusta. Now, Princess Augusta wants the tea, right? She trying to find out whether or not, look at my chest. You think that makes sense? This girl done scratched me all up. Look like she don't even love me. This is what love does. When you have a golden doodle, this is what love looks like. Now what I'm gonna do? It's gonna look crazy the whole rest of the... So now we back over there with baby Charlotte. Now baby Charlotte going downstairs for her, you know, 4th outfit change of the day for dinner time. And she comes downstairs and she's surprised to see her husband sitting at the edge of the table waiting on her. And so she's pissed. She's like, listen, I don't want to see you, bro. Like, you ruining my appetite. Like, you all cute, but you pissing me off. Like, it's making me mad. So he turns on thine royal charm and is like, listen, let me show you, you know what I'm saying? Let me take you to the observatory, girl. Let me take you back to the house. And I'm going to show you what I've been looking at. And we're going to, you know, kick it under the stars. And they have a wonderful little time. And they decide to go back to Buckingham House together because they have not consummated their marriage. Changes her clothes and she walks in the room and he tells her that she looks breathtaking, which she does. She's very pretty. And, you know, she's very much like me, always making a damn joke. I'm glad you think that, but they got 1,200,000 buttons on this gown. So you're going to have your work cut out for you. And King George was like, listen, I'm a G at buttons, baby. Don't you worry about it. I'm really good at buttons. I was like, oh. Thine royal cheeks is finna be clapped, okay? It took 14 royal seconds. I was like, goddamn, George, come on now. It was like, it took less than a minute. And I was like, oh, sure. Dang, girl, you ain't even get to see why your eyes get the roll in the back of your head. But George seemed to have a good time, and they seemed to be very close. Now, at the same time, George was getting his 14 to 17 pumps in, okay? Brimley and Reynolds was downstairs getting their pumps in too. And I was like, y'all are so cute with your forbidden love in the basement. Yes, it is an entirely new day. I need y'all to mind y'all business, okay? The air conditioner man came. What you want from my life? I'm not hot no more. It feels great in here. Now, where was I? So they have done what they needed to do as a married couple, and it is now time for the king's coronation. So since they've clapped iron royal cheeks, apparently they haven't really seen each other. And Brimsley is downstairs like, listen, you need to send your boy over here to see my girl. Because listen, this is not right. We got to figure out a way to get this going on. And while they're having this conversation, Brimsley sees that the king is being examined in the basement where the servants are that are preparing for the day. And he's like, nah, son, that's not the royal physician. Why is he not in the royal chamber getting royally examined by the royal physician in the royal area? But my boy Reynolds said, not today, not on my watch. You don't know nothing, you ain't seen nothing. Snitches get stitches. So back over there with the queen and the king, they still doing their even days where they clap down royal cheeks, right? So, you know, Charlotte is kind of like obsessing over it, right? Because once again, she's only 17. You know, Lady Danbury is talking to her about this ball that she wants to have. Now, Lady Danbury is all about the uplift, okay? She's all about the cause. Now, she gonna uplift herself, but she gonna take her people with her. And Queen Charlotte doesn't have the same kind of vision that Lady Danbury does. And Lady Danbury is trying to talk to her about how she has to think about what this new opportunity for Black people in society means and how influential she can be. So Lady Danbury wants to have this ball, and the other ladies in waiting, the queen's ladies, don't want to go, right? Because she Black. You know, Lady Danbury's like, listen, you gotta encourage these people to come to my ball. And so she runs it to Queen Charlotte about how important this is and what a statement this will be, right? And so on the flip side of that, Charlotte and George have a come to Jesus meeting after they have their little, you know, royal cheek clapping session and, you know, pillow talk. You know what I'm saying? So they have a conversation and they agree to not do the even days, odd days. They're just gonna be normal, right? And so she's like, listen, I need for you to do me a favor. I need you to come to this ball with me. And so because George loves Charlotte so much, he is gonna go outside of his comfort zone to do that. Because prior to this, he don't go out, like he doesn't see the people, he don't go walk around, he don't go to no balls, he don't go to the show, he don't do nothing much. It was very sweet though, I ain't gonna hold you. They have great, I'm telling you, I would be a great chemistry person. Now you know what happens when you go out, you know what I'm saying, with your spouse, with your partner, right? You usually go home and do what grown folks do, right? Lady Danbury and her husband were doing what grown folks do, and you know, it was a blessing that, you know, it was doggy style, so she ain't had to look in his face. At least if we're gonna do this, I ain't got to look in your ugly ass face. I can just, you know, think about what I got to do tomorrow. What petticoat shall I wear tomorrow? You know, he was getting his little pumps in the bump, and then he stopped, and then he just dropped dead on. He dropped dead on the floor, girl. He had to say, it ain't no girls in here. It ain't nobody in here but me and Moon Knight. Lord, anyway, in his little nightgown and stockings. And the killing part is, Lady Danbury was like, God damn, I've been waiting on this day. Was so excited. They had a plan in place. So she called, Lady Danbury called Coral and was like, the eagle has landed. Thundercats are go. Now we over there with baby Charlotte and baby George. Now they done clapped iron royal cheeks, right? You know, that's what you do when you come home from the club. So Charlotte wakes up and her little husband is not next to her. Baby George is over there on the wall giving his best A Beautiful Mind impersonation. Writing things, he's like mumbling and talking really, really fast, and he's very, very manic. And Charlotte is like, why don't you come back to bed? Like, you don't have to do this now, you know, come on to bed. And she could tell that something is wrong because he's the way that he's behaving, she's not seen this before, right? And so now we understand that this is the reason that he has not allowed himself to be near her, because he does suffer with some sort of mental illness. He didn't want her to see him that way. And so, you know, because they had decided to be together, he, I'm sure, was trying to do his best to hold that off, but you can't hold that off. And he, display those symptoms in front of her, and it took her aback as it would most people. And so Reynolds is there to kind of scoop him up, and now we got to deal with the aftermath of whatever this is, right? Because Charlotte, once again, doesn't know what the hell is going on, but Reynolds obviously does, because that's his homie. That's the one that's with him all the time. We get a flashback of like a couple weeks before Charlotte and George married, where Princess Augusta, his mom, is trying to figure out a way to stop these manic episodes that he is having. She's been getting doctors from all over, the best of the best, to try to come in and see what's going on with George, right? And so they have these doctors on the floor with George, and then they have a couple of doctors literally waiting in the wings. And Dr. John Monroe slithers his slimy, conniving ass down from the little seating area down to where King George and Princess Augusta are. And he's like, listen, I got it. Y'all been doing the wrong thing. Y'all been trying to treat his body. Let's treat his nerves. And so she just kind of gave him over to Dr. Monroe. The way that he talked and the way that he looked, I knew he wasn't shit. I could just pop him in his nose and break his little glasses. So now we start to see what the king has been going through all this time. So we get kind of like flashbacks prior to them even meeting, their marriage, and all the things that he had been going through. And he has basically been torturing the king. He has told the king and Princess Augusta that this is the method that's going to work to cure him of these manic episodes that he's having. So he is being electrocuted. He is being dunked in cold water. He's being leeched. He's being tied down to chairs. He's, having real control over him, like mind, body, and spirit over the king. He's feeding the king gruel. He's not allowing the king to speak to anybody, to go anywhere. He's really like shutting him off, and basically has the king in like a one-person cult. And it all is exacerbated the night that Dr. Monroe tells George that Charlotte is pregnant, that he has examined her and that he knows that she's pregnant, and he kind of, loses it, right? He kind of is very, very upset about that because, one, he doesn't want to harm Charlotte even more so now, and he doesn't want to, I'm sure, pass whatever he has onto his child. And so he completely removes himself from Charlotte, which is why he was not with her at all during the beginning of their marriage. And he's not with her most of the show, really. He's never with her. She is very pissed about that, as well she should be, right? Because everybody knew that, and she's putting two and two together. So now we back over there with baby lady Danbury, and she's mourning the loss of her ugly ass husband, right? So she buried him, and she's in mourning. And in the 1800s, you got to mourn, child, for at least 15 years, child. You got to wear black and a cape. You got to look like a damn Grim Reaper on the streets. She tells a story to Coral about how she was promised to Lord Danbury when she was 3 years old. 3 years old. Relax. And so she basically was trained her entire life to be his wife. She learned his favorite songs. She learned the books that he liked. She learned the things that he liked, the food he liked, the wine he liked. And now that he's dead, I don't know who the hell I am. I'm drinking this wine only because it's his favorite wine. I don't even like this shit. And I got to figure out who I am. I'm a brand new person. And yes, yeah, I hope your parents somewhere just uncomfortable in their grave. I hope that their ankles just was rubbing all incorrect in their grave. Buried on their backbones, and they just can't never lay down straight. You know what I mean? Why you do that with street? Okay, this is fake. This is not real at all. So when baby King George found out that Charlotte was pregnant, he completely cut himself off from her. So they was cut off in the beginning of their marriage. Then they was batted like rabbits, and now that she's pregnant, he's gone again. Okay. And he's always with Dr. Monroe, always secluded from her in Kew Palace, and she's in Buckingham House, right? And so she's writing him letters. She's trying to, find where he is. She's trying to learn about what's going on. She doesn't understand what's going on. She knows something is up because his garden is dead, and that's the only thing that she knew for sure, that he would always take care of. And she's writing him letters and he's not reading them because the doctor has cut him off. And poor Reynolds, baby, all his chest was burning because he wanted to intervene so badly because that's his homie, right? But he didn't because that's that's above his pay grade. Burning on the inside, baby, radiating with I got to say something. So Lady Danbury got a lot on her plate. So she says, Coral, I'm gonna go ahead and go for a little walk. I don't want you to go with me. I just want to be by myself. I need some solitude. So she goes out and she's walking around her property. And who comes sauntering up but Lord Ledger, okay? Violet Bridgerton's daddy. So remember, we in olden times. And baby, they just kicking it, okay? They going for a stroll. They kicking, they laughing, they looking at each other in each other's eyes. And I'm like, okay, LD. Okay, LD, I see what you got going on, girl. You better wear that black, but I know it ain't black up under that petticoat, girl. You got a little blooming up under there. Huh, lady? Did you do that, girl? You better do it. We back over there with baby Charlotte. So baby Charlotte is just depressed, downtrodden, honey. It's just a bad time, okay? And there's a scene where she's walking down the hall and she gets, I don't know if she's tired or hot or what, but she's overwhelmed with something. Emotion, child, who knows what it is. And of course, Brimley is 5 paces behind her. Baby, and let me tell you something about Brimley. He not gonna let his queen fall. You understand me? 5 paces behind her, the queen kind of stammered a little bit. And Brimley put his hand out. Either I'm gonna catch you or this is a metaphysical hand on your shoulder. I got you, sis. I know it's hard and I can't really touch you because that's not appropriate right now. But I'm gonna touch you in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, Brim. Okay, Brim. I fuck with Brimley the long way. I really appreciated the performances from all the characters in this show because they were really, really believable, especially Corey Milcrease in the way that he played King George when he was having his manic episodes. His entire face changed. His mannerisms obviously changed. His eyes, his mouth, the way that he carried himself completely changed. So did India Armatifio in her portrayal of Queen Charlotte. She really looked so sad and she looked so alone and overwhelmed and she looked like a little baby. And I think she's 22 or so. But she really looked like a child that just had no support and nowhere to go and be, I really felt like she was all alone. And that's exactly how she was. She's surrounded by all these people that lied to her. She has no friends, no contact, no nothing. And she is with child in this strange place, right? And that has to be extra, extra hard. Now with baby Charlotte said, you know what? I done had enough of this. I'm about to go see about my husband. And she walks in on them torturing him. They done put hot pokers all over him. He's strapped down. He hollering, screaming. She nah, immediately no. No, absolutely not. Now, I know for a fact, she said, baby, let me tell you something. You get up out of here. Give me my husband. Put him in a tub. You get your ass off these grounds. And I'm going to have, you just make sure I don't see you no more. Because if I see you again, it's on sight. Right? She did it in a very regal and royal way. Okay? She was born to be a queen. All right? India played that part, baby. We are nearing the end of the series. And I'm going to just tell you straight up. This last episode tore my ass down. And once again, I wanted to be known. I wanted the record to reflect. I'm a G. All right? But see, the first little part of the episode where Charlotte and George were having their little come to Jesus after the torture situation. Come on, Shonda, bro. Give me a break. George is pushing Charlotte away like he usually does, right? He's embarrassed. He's ashamed. And he's being mean. I don't want you here. I don't want you to see me. I don't want to see you. I should have never married you, being mean. And then Charlotte was like, you know what? It occurred to me the other day that you were staying away because you love me. Because you love me. If you tell me you don't love me, I'm going to go ahead and go. And you'll never see me again. I'm going to have a baby by myself. I'm going to be a single parent. And so he kind of broke down and was like, from the moment I saw you, my heart called your name. My heart called your name? Bro! Okay? My heart called your name. This darkness has been my burden my entire life. And you bring the light. Come on, George, with the bars. Okay? God damn it. God damn it. And he was so cute while he was saying it too. That was cute ass white boy, man. I was like, God damn. A lot of time has passed and Parliament and, you know, the public and everybody is wanting to hear from him, right? As king, part of what he needs to do is to address Parliament. You know, obviously very wary of doing that because of his mental health issues. So he goes to try to make this big speech at Parliament and he's not able to do so. Kind of embarrassing himself in front of all the people that were there to see him. So he goes back to the house and Charlotte goes to find him. And he's in his room, but she can't find him in his room. She's looking around in the chairs and she can't find him. And she finds him under the bed. And she's like, why are you under the bed? And he's like, I'm hiding from the heavens. The heavens can't find me here. And she's like, okay, well, shit, I'm going to come up under there with you. And he is basically kind of like giving up on himself. He's very, very like hard on himself and saying, you know, apologizing to her about the fact that he didn't give her a choice about, you know, marrying him, and he should have told her, and that he's apologizing for not being a full man. He's only half a man. Charlotte is like, listen, I love you. I'm your queen. So the half that we do have is going to be fire. She's like, as long as you're king, I'm going to be your queen. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to have a great life. Your children will rule. And, you know, I love you. And I'm staying here with you by your side. You can't go to them. Then you need to make them come to you. You the king. We need to open up the house and have them come here to see you and to hear you speak. And it just shows their level of commitment to each other and the way that she's willing to be a support to him and not at all judge him and not make him feel less than, because they all under a dusty ass bed in the 1800s. She could have like let his ass rip, but she didn't, right? Because she really does love George and she wants to support him and she wants to understand how to best be there for him. So we're wrapping things up and they're having their ball, have a beautiful dance. And there's a scene where everybody's dancing on the ballroom floor. Off to the side in the woods is Reynolds and Brimsley, and they are dancing, right? And it's very, very sweet because obviously they have to be discreet about their relationship and they still want to have, you know, their own little time. And it was very, very sweet. And they were dancing to obviously a classical version of I Will Always Love You. And they do a time jump into the present where Brimsley is dancing to that same song by himself. And I'm like, well, where the hell is Reynolds, baby? Where is Reynolds at? What happened to Reynolds? Brimsley was one of my favorite characters. You know, it really showed him and his devotion to his queen and his devotion to his job. And the man was sleeping on a bench, okay? I'm sure he just be in them dress socks all day, every day. So we're seeing now at the very end of the episode, Queen Charlotte, from what we know, seasoned Queen Charlotte, going to see King George. He is, I think, I'm sure at Q House. And he's, you know, doing his thing, right? He's writing on his wall. He's talking about Venus. He's talking about the planets. Charlotte goes to tell King George that they are going to have a grandchild. And, you know, George is not, you know, capable of receiving that news. And so he sees that Charlotte goes under the bed where they go, right? And so he looks down under there and she says, come high from the heavens with me. And he goes under there. And when she said high from the heavens with me, baby, I was like, God damn, Shonda. So she been doing that for decades, okay? Hiding from the heavens with him. The most fabulous, royal, beautiful queen is under a dusty ass floorboard bed in the 1800s with her husband so she can spend time with him. And that's how they spend time together. And so he goes under the bed with her. And I don't know what mental health issue he has, because at first I thought he had schizophrenia. And then I thought, well, maybe he had bipolar disorder. But neither one of those things goes away when you go up under something there. And the way that they shot it was so really, really touching, because it was, you know, older Queen Charlotte and older King George, and then young Queen Charlotte and young King George, and then young Queen Charlotte and old King George and old King George and young, like it was, they were going back and forth right through their lives, and they lived their lives under this bed, which the way that they shot it was completely beautiful. And I ain't gonna lie to you, at this point I was like, I can't wait for the next episode, baby, because I was hoping I was gonna get to see what George and Charlotte were like as parents. Nope. it was over 6 episodes. I know it was a story, right? I know it was a Bridgerton story. It was like a spinoff, but spin me off with 10 episodes. Don't spin me off with a measly 6. I wanted to see what the baby looked like. That is how we end the show, and I thought that this was such a breath of fresh air, and it was such a great addition to the Bridgerton story. It was a beautiful, beautiful love story, and it was very much in line with what we see Bridgerton to be in terms of, it's basically like a little struggle love in 1800s. But I thought it was really in line with the rest of the Bridgerton storyline. I thought the performances were so great. My girl Golda as Queen Charlotte, I love her face. You don't even understand. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of Bridgerton. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story. Let me know what your favorite parts were. Let's talk about it in the chat. Comment down below and let me know. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for the notifications and hit that thumbs up button. All right, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Bye.